Hey there folks, it's Malicus again with another video from the Diablo IV Open Beta, showcasing some Necromancer build that I've been playing with that's certainly not flavor of the month, like the Blood Mist Corpse Explosion build, but I enjoy it because I'm more into the Commander of the Dead Minion sort of focus, so I'm just going to briefly go over the skills and then we'll do a little run through. So for our builder, we are currently running Decompose with the first rank. Primarily we're doing this just because there are augments to it that increase what our minion damage is to the thing that we are using Decompose on, which is useful for bosses, so it's an easy 10% damage. Gaining essence when an enemy dies is useful because our primary spender, Blight, is fairly expensive. It does pretty decent damage. It puts a puddle on the ground, which does good damage. The most important part here is the slow, and minions deal another 15% damage to enemies inside of Blight. We also are running this legendary here, which has Blight's Defiled Area. When spawned, pulls in enemies around the affected area. Now the way this works is you throw out your Blight, it hits, and whatever enemy it hits will be pulled slightly towards you depending on the angle of the impact, and the mobs around it will also be sucked in. Now that may seem similar to you to this skill here, Corpse Tendrils, because essentially it is. It doesn't require a corpse and it does not stun. However, it does do the draw-in, and considering Blight slows things and increases damage done to things that are affected by minions and makes the minions do more damage, kind of doubling up on resources here, which is always good. So we take the Blight, we take Enhanced Blight, we're taking Supernatural Blight. Over here we have the Skeleton Warrior Mastery. I really wish I could fit Blood Mist into this build, but it's fantastic. It's fantastic, this skill, but I've just been having a lot of fun with the other things that I'm going to showcase here in a second. Decapify, if you saw the previous video, so using it for the same purpose, makes the monsters that are affected do less damage. It also slows them, which means our minions last longer, they can't get to us. Enhanced Decapify, chance of stun, so any damage we do to them, any damage the mages deal to them, any damage the warriors deal to them, any damage the golems deal to them, even dot damage from things like our Blight seem to proc this, so. And with the ultimate skill, Bone Storm, which is fantastic with this. I love it to death. Like, as soon as I get swarmed, I'm like, okay, Bone Storm. And it's pretty much everything is stunned around me. Really starved for skill slots. As you can see here, we've got Decapify, Bone Storm, Golem, minions, and then our builder and a spender. So, like, I mean, if we could have an extra slot and ultimate could be its own slot, that'd be phenomenal, because then we could throw something else in there, but kind of dipping heavily into passives just to get us further down the tree. We take the first point into Reaper's Pursuit just to get us in this tree, but movement speed's never bad. Taking 3 out of 3 here in Gloom. I'm not sure how terribly effective this is, but we're doing primarily darkness damage with our builder and our spender, so I'm also using the Book of the Dead Mage that does shadow damage and throws additional bolts, so we're dipping everything into shadow damage and trying to get that up as high as possible. So more damage minion, and it stacks 3 times, so we're looking at 18% increased shadow damage from them, which is not nothing. Darkness skills deal more damage. Enemies who are slowed, they will be slowed. They're going to be in Decapify. Also, Blight slows them by themselves, so that's just, if you're standing in Blight, you're taking an extra. Stun Immobilize also works. And they stack and apply shamage damage, also dealt by our minions, which we're trying to push for. Down here, Bone Storm. I was not paying attention to the skill previously, and we were kind of just going for Army of the Dead, which is like a 90-second cooldown, and the damage from each skeleton's like not phenomenal, like 94 to 114, and you don't control them. They just run around and hit things. Like, it looks cool, but as far as effectiveness is concerned, I just wasn't really feeling it. Bone Storm, on the other hand, about a 60-second cooldown, same lucky chance, but the damage is much, much bigger, and it's over 10 seconds, and it's a lot of small chip damage, and every one of these hits of Bone Storm will work together with our Enhanced Decapify for a chance to stun. So you hit Decapify on your enemies, you pop Bone Storm, and everything around you is getting it, and they're all locked up. You'll see, in this dungeon, I'll probably run into swarms of enemies and be completely okay. They're taking here for Inspiring Leader, because we don't really get hurt that much, so this is just free minion damage. Same thing over here, free minion damage. When I'm close to them, and I'm going to be in the thick with them, we don't we don't really hide. For the Book of the Dead things, we went with Reapers, actually, because they seem to be doing more of like an AoE damage in between their big wind-up skills, and the big AoE damage has reduced cooldown because of what we're doing with Decrepify for the slows and stuns, so that all works together well. Skeleton Mages, I went for the shadow damage aspect and the extra attack because we have items over here on our passive tree that are giving us benefits to shadow damage, and our Builder Spender are also shadow damage. Golem, you ain't got a choice. Golem. I went with this one because when he gets hurt, he'll drop a corpse, and then I can hit the corpse and he can heal up. Or if one of my minions happens to die, I can get the minion back. But corpses aren't really an issue outside of boss fights. Like, I took this build to the world boss, and maybe I'll upload that video, but it was a travesty. So let's run through this and see how it goes. Got some garbage. I love garbage. Thank you so much. Alright, so you can see there the blight sucking them in. Makes nice piles. Hold down decompose. Get your resources back. Easy peasy, nobody getting hurt. Our damage is not amazing. We're not gonna impress anybody, but here we go. Bone Storm. Stand around. I feel like Bone Storm is especially good because it works with you and your golem. If it was just you or just your golem, it would be less impressive, but fortunately we don't have to choose. We have both. And you can see there that mob was stunned. These mobs get a nice little pile. Reapers go in, they do their work. We just run around and gather. We're always in proximity, so they're always getting the bonuses from us. Oh. Okay. You are whatever. You are shiny nothing. I love it. I feel like there's just too much disparity between like what is and is not a valuable legendary aspect. The generic ones, kind of like lucky hit on a crowded enemy. This one's phenomenal, by the way. Attack speed on minions and it stacks. Oh my god, I love this thing. This is okay. Things like this, like distant enemies have a chance to be stunned if they hit you. I haven't seen that one used at all. I don't use Bone Prison for nothing. This one's great. Skeletal Warriors, I wish I had more of these, or even the Skeletal Mages one. Like this right here, this active effect, while you have Barrier active, there's a 30% chance to ignore incoming direct damage from distant enemies. Like, that's so specific, and I don't ever have Barrier. And I for the life of me, maybe I'll switch it over, this aspect over to here, but I've been getting mostly generic aspects like barrier generation and stuff, and I'm like, I don't use barrier on this build. I don't need it. I don't even have to heal on this build. I just stand there. I love Blight for the little ones. Oh. Previously I was playing like a hemorrhage, like blood specific build, and the AoE on that is very circumstantial. But Blight, just set it and forget it. So here we're gonna hit Bone Storm. We got packs all over the place. Try and draw these crowds together. So flat out, the damage is not as impressive as like the Blood Mist Corpse build that everyone and their mother has made a video about already, but I don't feel like that sort of playstyle is fun, really. Like there's no, I don't know how to describe it. I suppose the word would be like skill level involved. Not that this is a particularly difficult to build to play or anything by that means, but like at least I'm engaged with this, whereas the other build it's just hold down Blood Mist, walk around. At least here I need to think about my minions' health, like my placements for my blights, which mob I should be using decay on, that kind of stuff, and it's just more engaging. So come release, I'll probably be playing something closer to this than whatever is doing the most damage. I've noticed a couple things that I could use to bump up the power of this build, or at least its viability. Not that this is by any means unviable. I have run into no problems. I think I have like maybe like 1 or 2 deaths across this whole account, and they were me not paying attention. Specific legendaries I think could bring it up, like there's a decompose one that lets you decompose from multiple targets around you, I believe. Something like that could up the damage, because a lot of the time we are just holding down decompose on the enemy. If we were draining from multiple enemies, that'd be, assuming you could get multiple forms of income from that. Like if I was getting multiple ticks of essence from that rather than just the one strand, that would feed into more blights, which would be more damage. But I have not gotten that drop. What is even the objective? Skeletal constructs, okay. I have probably taken like the long way to all of these. Spider Slayer. Looks like we got one down here. Jesus. Did they buff drop rates on the last day or something? Was it the last little hurrah? Because this is kind of obnoxious. Yeah, like these generic ones here, like distant enemies have a chance to be stunned for 2 seconds when you hit them. Like the point isn't for me to do damage, it's for them to do damage. Anyway. I wonder if they buff drop rates for the last day, because I feel like in the last hour I've gotten more legendaries than I have the entire time I played this weekend. Great. Great. We went the wrong goddamn way. Shocking. I do this really obnoxious thing when I'm playing ARPGs where I want to touch the corner of every map. Like, for anyone who's ever played PoE, like, you know, they have those, like, act by act playthroughs, like at this level get these sort of anointments or whatever, or these things on the grid. Follow those to the T, because I don't have a PhD, so the inner workings of PoE are beyond me. I can make the build function, but as far as theory crafting, it's a bit much of a time investment for me. I feel like the first couple of years of that game, I kind of just blew it off because the download for like how the game worked was way too big for me to want to put in the time. I was like, this is like an ARPG. I'm supposed to just like jump in and like blow up some baddies and have a good time. But maybe that's just because I played way too much Gauntlet. Anyway, like I was saying, in PoE, I have this obnoxious thing where I feel like the need to touch the corner of every part of the map, and then I massively out-level the guide that I'm following. It's like, yeah, by like Act 3, you're going to be level 15, and like before I'm even out of Act 1, I'm level 15. Because I kill everything. Like, I don't skip none. I feel like those guides are written entirely from the perspective that I will only be fighting like mobs with like rarity affixes and like mandatory bosses. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna kill everything. I'm going to use SRS, popcorn skeletons, on every single monster in the goddamn game. I'll even like run to a corner and then just hold down right click, throw them out everywhere, and then wait for them to go in a direction. I'm like, okay, that's where the enemy is. Like I'm using them to door check almost. Maybe that's just me. I've never really seen... I don't feel like speedrunning's terribly fun. I feel like I'm running through the game to get to the end of the game. And then when I get to the end of the game, I don't terribly enjoy the end game, so why did I skip the game? Maybe that's just me. I feel like most people, when they play games in general, like, Jesus Christ, another fucking legendary? This is obnoxious. I hope these rates are like 5-10 times what they are when the actual game comes out, because even just going to town constantly to have to like empty the bags is annoying. I also feel like bag space is kind of like an antiquated concern. I don't know why I can't just hold an infinite number of things. It's not like I can realistically carry this many things anyway, like, so what does it matter if I just hold an infinite number of things? Another damage with barrier item. I don't... What are you trying to tell me, Blizzard? What secret Necromancer barrier build am I unaware of? Because as far as I know, I don't have anything that grants me barrier. Scheiße. We are too full. Normally I'd actually take my time and read these items, but we're not playing any of those games right now. It is the last day. There is nothing I care about right now. Meanwhile, I just broke an item that had perfect stats. Slay the gatekeeper and collect the catacomb key. Very well. Of course, I missed the one that was in the beginning, so we have to backtrack the entire way. Also, the lack of movement skills on Necromancer, like, God, that's hard. That's rough. Like, you got nothing. I really thought for sure there was gonna be like a jump to corpse and blow up that corpse kind of skill. Nothing. Doesn't exist. I really hope there's more going on in the skill tree, or hell, I'll take a legendary that gives me a fucking a skill like that, because that's pretty rough. But then I'd also kind of need the means to generate a corpse at location to then teleport to that location. So I guess it would be a moot point in this sort of situation. Oh. What are you? Low on essence, heard. Artillery, okay, that's nice, thank you, I love you. Oh god, no, there's more? Artillery on minions, by the way, completely balanced and well considered. Anybody who says otherwise is a Sork main. And they've already got it good enough, so they need to shut up. Let someone else eat at the table. Or as you kids would put it, let him cook. You can run as much as you like, I don't care. Good God. I really feel like they boosted the damn drop rates for legendaries on this last day, because this is even worse than it was before, and before it was too much. Bloodlance. Not so much. Especially not with those stats. Oof. Minion attack speed. 3%. 4%. That's better. Minion attack speed already better on that. Okay, well. That is the end of this run, and basically the end of beta. There's like maybe 40 minutes left. So, I hope you guys like this video. If not, tell me I'm garbage in the comments, and I won't care. Until next time, take care.